Arch Linux is considered to be one of the hardest operating systems to install. You get a black screen called a console, and you have to configure your whole operating system by using text commands. A few days ago, I installed what's considered to be one of the easiest operating systems to install. You just click next a bunch of times, and I still managed to erase my entire hard drive. There she goes. So naturally, after that experience, I decided to immediately go for the final boss. Arch Linux. There are a couple of things to know before we start. There's an easy way to install it by using what's called an archinstall script. That's obviously for noobs, so I'm not gonna use that. But since I don't have this thing, I can't record my screen when it's in this black mode. So I'll be installing Arch Linux inside of a virtual machine, which is like a virtual computer inside my computer, so that I can record it. And later, if I manage not to rage quit, wait, what? I'll install it on my actual PC. So let us begin. First things first, I'm going to Google Arch Linux and go into their website to find the installation guide and also to download the ISO file, which I'll need to install the operating system. Let's go into download, and I can download it with torrents, or I believe there's another way. I'm going to click on the worldwide link, and I need the ISO file. It's 1.1 gigabytes, so this is going to take some time. Now, while it's downloading, the next thing I would need if I wasn't installing this in a virtual machine is called Balena Etcher. It's basically a software that can put this ISO file onto a USB stick that I would then need to plug into my computer and then go into my computer BIOS by smashing the delete key on my keyboard while the computer restarts, then choose the boot menu and boot into that USB. But I will not need to do this because I'm trying to install Arch Linux inside of a virtual machine. I'm not going to close out of my browser because I'm going to need the installation guide from the Arch Linux website and also probably a tutorial on YouTube. Installation guide. Oh. This is gonna be interesting. So then I set up my virtual machine, the computer inside my computer I was talking about, and I was ready to start the installation. So here I have my virtual machine set up. I gave it 10 gigabytes of RAM, 6 processor cores, and 69 gigabytes of storage. Very nice. So let's begin the procedure. Oh, there we are. I'm going to move the machine over here, and I'll have the tutorials on the left. So here I'm inside the boot menu. This is where you would get if you plugged in the USB into your computer. This is what would spawn in essentially. So I'm going to choose the first option. Oh, welcome to Arch Linux. Interesting. By the way, I've not read a single word of the documentation here. 1.1, acquire an installation image. That's the ISO file. Step 1.2, verify signature. Well, skipped this part already. Prepare the installation medium. This is where I would have used a USB stick if I wasn't installing this in a virtual machine. You will be logged in on the virtual console as the root user and presented with a ZHS shell prompt. So that's what this is on the right. 1.5, how many are there in total? Oh, just 5. Famous last words. 1.5. Set the console keyboard layout and font. Available layouts can be listed with this command. Can I copy and paste? Control-Shift-V, Control-Alt-V. Okay, it now says 130 next to root, which is probably not good. So with my immense terminal knowledge, I think pressing Control-C terminates the current command that's running. So I'll try this. Still says 130. What if I put clear? Oh, there we go. So let's do local ectl list key maps. Boink. Okay, can I move with my arrow keys? No. I'm clicking J and K on my keyboard and it's doing something. I have no idea what this is, but I know that J and K are Vim keys. I've never used Vim. Well, I have a US layout, so I'm not sure why did I come here. So let's try to find US. How to move faster in terminal. I just pressed some random key on my keyboard and now it says US here. So I'm going to click enter. Well, didn't expect to get stuck on the first command. Okay, why does it say lines? Uh-oh. Control-C. Okay, so I can type here. It says 130 once again, so I don't know what that means. Clear one more time, and we're back. Let's try this command one more time. So how do you select something? Oh, this is just a list. I can't select anything here. Okay, solid start. I'm going to click Control-L. Never mind. I'm going to hit Control-C to escape this and type clear to clear everything. To set the keyboard layout, pass its name to load keys. For example, to set German keyboard layout, load keys DE Latin 1. So to set the US keyboard layout, I would do load keys and US. Boom! Nothing happened, which is exactly what we want. To use one of the largest fonts suitable for high DPI screens, run set font tier 123B. Set font 132B. Nice. 132B. Unable to find file ter123b. 132b. Boom! Look at the size of... Not gonna go there. Verify the boot mode. To verify the boot mode, check the UEFI bitness. If the command returns 64, then the system is booted in UEFI mode. UEFI means BIOS, I'm pretty sure. Okay, we want this to return 64. So cat/firmware EFI/FW platform size. Wonderful. Okay, I'm pretty sure that the cat command displays the contents of the file. So maybe once again, I mistyped something. EFI, I said EFT. Boink, no such file. FW platform size. Why did it give me a sad smiley face? I'm not sure what's wrong with this command. Let's try to use the cat command on the previous file folder. So /usr/share kbd console fonts. This is a directory. Oh, ls, which means list. So I can list out all the fonts. USR share console fonts. Oh, one thing I don't understand is how do I move up and down? Simply press and hold shift and then push page up or page down on your keyboard. For me, it's function 1, page up, page down, right next to enter. Okay. Well, that doesn't work. So why does this not work? Let's do clear to clear out this mess. And what if I do ls to show me where I am? I am somewhere, probably in a root folder. Probably not actually. So can I do something like cd for change directory? And then what if I go into sys? Oh, yes. Okay, we are in the sys folder. Let's do cd/firmware. No such directory. Firmware. And what if I do ls to list out all of the directories here? cd firmware. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have typed it with the slash. Let's go deeper. cdefi. No such file. Of course. ls. There is no EFI. What does that mean? Okay, since this is another verification process and I've already skipped one before, the verify signature one, I'm going to skip this one. And to go back to my original folder, I'm going to do cd and ... cd and ... with a space, cd cd squirrely bracket. Yes, clear. Beautiful. We're back like nothing happened. So far, we have changed the font size. 1.7. Connect to the internet. IP link. No idea what this means. Ethernet. Plug in the cable. Oh, I'm already connected. And let's do ping google.com. It's doing something, which means I'm probably connected. Perfect. Update the system clock. Use time date CT1 to ensure the system clock is synchronized. Time date CT1. Of course. Oh, it's detect. Time detect 1. Oh, this is an L. Time detect L. So many things have already gone wrong and it's because I can't read. System clock synchronized? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Next, I needed to format my hard drive so that it had the appropriate partitions that Arch Linux needs. That's the root folder, basically where all the files live, then the boot partition, from which Linux boots up when you first start your computer, and the swap partition, which is used for when your RAM becomes full. So it moves data into the swap space to free up your RAM. Partition the disks. To identify these devices, use lsblk or fdisk. Fdisk minus L. Boom! We have the first disk with 69 gigabytes of storage. Very nice. Loop 0 with 792 megabytes. No idea what this one is. Results ending in ROM loop or... oh, that's loop. May be ignored. That's great news. Use a partitioning tool like fdisk to modify partition tables. For example, fdisk/dev/the disk to be partitioned. Okay, so here I want to partition the dev/sda disk because it's the only one, and that's where I want to install Arch Linux. So let's do fdisk/dev/sda. Correct fdisk to fdisk. NYAE. Mistyped it once again. Welcome to fdisk. Welcome. Changes will remain in memory only until you decide to write them. Be careful before using the write command. Okay, so I'm doing everything in theory until I tell it to write, and then the whole shebang unfolds. Okay, let's return to the tutorial. 1.9.1. Example layouts. Slash means the root folder, I think. Okay, let's do M for help. The scrolling up and down would be really useful here, but I can't do it because my home keys don't work. How to use fdisk. Use the N command to create a new partition. What the hell is that? Okay, Mr. Mudahar uses lsblk, and I used fdisk. So let's just use lsblk. Okay, how do I leave the previous utility, the fdisk utility? Is it Control-C? All written changes will be lost. Do you really want to quit? Yes. We're back. Still only changed the font. It's been, what, 40 minutes? So let's do the lsblk command, lsblk, and we have loop, which we should ignore, sda, 69 gigabytes, where I want to install Arch Linux, and SR0, 1.1 gigabytes. No idea what that is, so let's follow the tutorial.
Whoa, you've got 931 gigs of that free space.
Fdisk. Let's see how to use this. Create a partition table and partitions. Let's go. This is what we need. The first step to partitioning a disk is making a partition table. See the partition table article to help decide whether to use MBR or GPT. I'm lost. Warning, if you create a new partition table on a disk with data on it, it will erase all the data on the disk. To create a new partition table and clear all current partition data, type G at the prompt for a GUID partition table, or O for an MBR partition table. I'm pretty sure this guide used GPT. Let's just see. GPT it is. So let's type in G. Created a new GPT disk label. Wonderful. No idea what that means. Let's do an fdisk tutorial on YouTube. Okay, and for new partition. Beautiful. Partition type. Oh, all of these are explained below. When using MBR, am I using MBR? Next, I need the partition number. A partition number is the number assigned to a partition. Example, a partition with number 1 on disk dev SDA would be dev SDA 1. So it just adds 1 at the end. Kibibytes, mebibytes, gigabytes, tebibytes, or pebibytes. What? Do I just do enter? Okay, that works. Let's go back to the tutorial. Okay, let's do +1G for summit to add 1 gigabyte to this partition. Created a new partition 1 of type Linux file system and of size 1 gigabyte. Oh, I should have made this 4 gigabytes. Why did I forget that? Q to quit without saving changes. Enter. Okay, let's do this again. fdisk-l fdisk/dev/sda g n1 enter +4 gigabytes. Wonderful. Change partition type. Press T to change the type of a partition. So I want this to be a swap partition. So T. Selected partition 1. Partition type or alias. Type L to list all. Let's do L. So I probably need 19, which is Linux swap. Use Linux root for the root partition, Linux swap for the swap partition, Linux home for the home partition. So I type 19 and 19. Oh, this is not a selection menu. Control-C. How do I escape? Q? No, did it just quit? fdisk-l fdisk. I will have this memorized. N1. Enter. +4G. Enter. Beautiful. Much faster than the first time. T. I need to type in the alias. So Linux swap. Or do I need to type in 19? Let's try Linux swap. Change type of partition Linux file system to Linux swap. Yes. Okay. So we have one partition created. So I still need to create the Linux root partition and Linux home partition. Let's go back to the tutorial to make sure I don't miss anything. Looks like everything should be the same. So let's do G once again. Let's do N for new partition number. Do I do 1 or 2 this time? Because I already made number 1. I'm going to do number 2. Let's do enter. And this is how many gigabytes I want. So what's even the Linux root and Linux home? I'm pretty sure home is like my user folder, like where all my files are. What's Linux root? The home directory is a subdirectory of the root directory. So the root directory is the slash and the home directory is the squiggly line. So root is the main thing, the big deal. Oh, so I just need the root one. So if I click enter, created a new partition 2 of Linux file system and of size 69 gigabytes. Perfect, I think. Review changes and partition table. Print changes via the P command. P. Write changes to disk and exit via the W command. W. Enter. The partition table has been altered. Beautiful. 1.9 was difficult. This part took a toll on me. Format the partitions. Once the partitions have been created, each newly created partition must be formatted with an appropriate file system. Run mkfs mkfs.ext4 and then /dev/sda2 or 1. I think 2 because that's the second one I made. Boink. No such file or directory. Wonderful. Of course, I put slash instead of dot. If you created a partition for swap, initialize it with mkswap. Okay, mkswap/dev/sda. Setting up swap space version 1 size 69 gigabytes. What? Isn't it supposed to be 4 gigabytes though. Before I do something I'm not supposed to, let's do fdisk-l to list out everything. The primary GPT table is corrupt, but the backup appears okay. Wonderful. So it says here dev SDA2 has 69.1 gigabytes. Not great news. So where's my swap space? Okay, can I do this again? fdisk-l-dev-sda. The device contains swap signature and it will be removed by a write command. So let's do gn1 enter plus 4g. Partition 1 contains xt4 signature. Do you want to remove this signature? Yes. And now I need to say that it's swap. T for changing the type. Linux swap. Wonderful. Okay. New. Enter. 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 Now it's 65 gigabytes, which means that the 4 gigabytes of swap space took away from the 69 gigabytes of total space. Makes sense. Okay, let's write. Beautiful. So now if I do fdisk-l, there should be 2. Yes. Dev SDA1 is the Linux swap and dev SDA2 is the Linux file system. That's what I like to see. Format partitions. mkfs.xt4 and the partition name. So I need to do this for the second one, which is my actual storage. /dev/SDA2. Dev SDA2 contains ISO with no line terminators data. I guess. Okay, no idea what happened. And mkswap for /dev/SDA1. Looks good so far. 1.11. Mount the file systems. Mount the root volume. So the root volume is dev SDA2 to /mnt. Makes sense. Mount /dev/SDA2 to /mnt. Wonderful. If you created swap volume, enable it with swap on. Swap on /dev/SDA1. Good. 2. Installation. Oh, so the installation hasn't even begun. I see how this works. Let's go back to the tutorial. Wait, I'm realizing now that I didn't create a boot partition. Should I have created a boot partition? Example layouts. UEFI with GPT. Boot. Oh, good thing I realized this now and not later in the process. So do I have to redo everything from here or can I just add 1 gigabyte? Let's do fdisk/dev/SDA. This disk is currently in use. Repartitioning is probably a bad idea. It's recommended to unmount all file system and swap off all swap partitions on the disk. Q, do I just unmount /dev/SDA1? Unmount. Yes. Wonderful. And how do I unswap? Swap off /dev/SDA1 and then fdisk/dev/SDA2 to format it. Cool. So I need a boot partition, G. I already forgot everything. N, and the partition number will be 3 because I have 1 and 2 already, and we need to give it 1 gigabyte of space. So plus 1G. Good. Let's do T for partition type, L to list all partitions, and for this one we need the EFI system, I think. Yes. So let's do 1, enter. So how do I go back? Shift enter. What if I go down to the bottom? The end command worked. Okay, so how do I leave? Escape, Q. Oh, I quit. EFI system. Boom. W to write. Rereading the partition table failed. Okay. How do I see all of my partitions? LSBLK. Let's try that. Okay, we have the loop, which I should ignore. We have SDA1. 4 gigabytes, so that's swap. We have SDA2, 65 gigabytes, and we have SR0, 1.1 gigabytes. So I think that's good. Let's try to format everything and see if it works. mkfs.fat -f/dev/ Oh, this is destroying my resilient mental armor right now. This part got me so close to rage quitting. Let's do this one more time. I kept doing it over and over again and it just wouldn't work. But this doesn't make any sense. I could not figure out why this fdisk utility was creating new partitions on top of the ones that I just made. I struggled with it for so long. Why is it writing the first one over the second one? I don't get it. Maybe because I'm a noob. Until I realized that this was not due to some big problem. It was because I kept randomly pressing the letter G every time I created a new partition. Why, you ask? I don't know why. This is me realizing it. Was the issue this whole time that I've been pressing G unnecessarily? No way. fdisk/dev/SDA G N enter, enter, plus 1 gigabyte. So now instead of G, I just press N. Oh, that's why it was overriding it. Makes sense when you think about it. Enter, plus 4 gigabytes for swap space, and then new, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so P, oh, finally. We have SDA1 for the boot partition, SDA2 for the swap partition, and SDA3 for the file system. So let's change their types. T for the first partition should be EFI system, and if I say P, it's EFI system. Beautiful. It's like I've done this 100 times. T2 to Linux swap. Boom. Okay, the 1.9 was my arch nemesis. Format the partitions. mkfs.ext4 for the root partition, which is dev sda3 /dev /sda3. Next, mkswap /dev /sda2. Yes. And the boot partition, mkfs.fat -f32 /dev /sda1. Enter. Yes. Okay. Mount the file system. lsblk to list everything out, and mount dev /sda3 into /mnt. Enter. Create any remaining mount points under mnt, such as mnt boot for boot, and mount the volumes in their corresponding hierarchical order. Mount --mkdir, which creates a folder or a directory, /dev /sda1 /mnt /boot. Enter. If you created a swap volume, enable it with swap on /dev /sda2. Enter. Okay, back to installation. Select the mirrors. Back up the existing mirror list. cp for copy, etc/pacman.d /mirror list, and let's copy it to etc/pacman.d/mirror list.backup. Enter. Made a copy. Edit mirror list.backup and uncomment the servers to be tested. Okay, I'm just going to follow this tutorial. Let's start off with sudo pacman, which is the package manager for Arch Linux, -sy and pacman-contrib. Okay, proceed with the installation. Yes. The pacman-contrib package provides a bash script, rank mirrors, which can be used to rank the mirrors according to their connected and opened speeds to take advantage of using the fastest local mirror. Okay, let's clear this out. Let's do rank mirrors -n6 /etc /pacman d mirror list.backup, then the arrow and /etc /pacman.d /mirror list, which to my understanding will sort the download location from where the system will be downloading files when I try to update something or download something. Probably. Enter. Okay, it's done. 2.2. Install essential packages. Okay. Packstrap-k /mnt base linux/firmware. Enter. Okay. The base package does not include all tools from the live installation. To install other packages or package groups, append the names to packstrap command above, or use pacman to install them while shrewd
my friend.
into the new system. Let's see how the tutorials do it. Okay, so I've definitely missed a few things that I needed to install. I don't think I should put in the packstrap script again to rerun this. Change root into the new system. chroot/mnt, and here I can do pacman install something. How to install with pacman. For packages from the official repositories, you will read something like install the foobar package. This means that you have to run pacman-s foobar, pacman-s, and the things I want to install. So let's do base devil grub EFI boot mgr nano network manager. Okay, does this work? Target not found. Base devon. What if we do grub? Not found. What if we do nano? Oh, nano works. Proceed with the installation. Yes. Okay, we have something. How do I get out of this root at arch ISO? How do I go back from this? So can I just run this again? The packstrap thing? Enter. Command not found. Hell yeah. How to go back from arch chroot. Exit. Just had to say exit. So let's try and do this command, but with the other packages. Base devil, enter. It works. Okay, so I'm going to install all of these like in the tutorial. Grub, EFI, boot, mgr, nano, and network manager. Enter. Okay. Configure the system. Generate an fstab file, -u or -l, to define by UUID or labels, respectively. So what's an fstab file? Let's resume the tutorial, I guess. Cool. Gen fstab/mnt gives me this, and I need to send this output over to /mnt/etc/fstab. So it will now write all of this information into the fstab file inside my mnt/etc folder. Beautiful. Okay, let's use cat to see the contents of this file. So cat/mnt/etc/fstab. Boom. I guess it's the same as the top one. Oh, and this is when I should have done the change root thing. So arch ch root/mnt. And now I'm inside my operating system. Arch Linux, probably. Next we have time. Set the time zone. What are the available time zones? To check the current zone defined for the system. Time, date, CTL, status. System has not been booted with system as in system. Can't operate, failed to connect to bus. Perfect. Time, date, CTL, list, time zones. Can't operate, failed to connect to bus. Somehow this doesn't seem like a good sign. Let's do exit. Let's do fdisk/dev/sda. Okay, no, this probably is not the issue. That's good news because I didn't want to go into the fdisk utility again. Okay, so change root. Arch ch root/mnt. Can I do ls? Yes, I can. Time, detect, status. Can't operate. Great. Not booted init system. Arch. Maybe I forgot to install some sort of a package with packstrap/mnt base Linux firmware. Reinstalling. Warning. Possible missing firmware module AST. Interesting. Okay. Gen fstab-u/mnt /mnt/etc/fstab. Enter. Wonderful. Arch ch-root-mnt. Okay, and let's do time, date, CTL, status. Shit. What if I just run this one? ln-sf/usr/share/zone-info/region Europe/Berlin. Oh, did that just work? Run HV clock to generate etc add time. Clear? Why did that work? Okay, let's do HW clock/sys2hc date. I don't know what that did. Localization. Generate the locales by running local/gen. Local.gen. Generating locales. Very nice. Create the local.config file and set the lang variable accordingly. Okay, he did nano/etc/local.gen. Boom. What's the Berlin time zone? CET. Now here, can we do arrow keys? Oh, I can see countries here. France, Italy, Germany is DE. So I'm assuming it's this one. So I need to delete this hashtag and then save it. I'm assuming write out is save. Let's double check with the tutorial. Yes. Control O. File name to write. That's correct. Control X to exit. Wonderful. Next, local.gen. Generating locales. Oh, so that's what I needed to do first and then run generate locales. nano/etc/local.conf. I need to say lang equals and the locale I picked, but I just forgot the one I picked. Uh-oh. Does time, date, CTL status work? No. Date? Nothing works. Let's do ls and then let's go into the etc folder. cd etc. Let's do ls again. Never mind. Let's go back. Oh no. ls etc/localgen. I should say cat, right? And there should be one locale that's uncommented. So I should have done nano instead. Now I need to find my locale and write it down somewhere. Okay. Let's do nano/etc/local.conf lang equals, and I think it's this, de underscore, wait, English, US.UTF-8. Should I follow the tutorial here or should I set this? This was the locale I set, but I want my language to be English. Okay, let's just do this. Right, enter, exit. Boom. 3.5, network configuration. Create a hostname file. Let's look at the tutorial. nano/etc/hostname. And this is the name of my computer. Very powerful PC. Enter, Control X. Next, in I Tramfs. Don't have to do this, so let's do the next one. Root password. Passwd. New password. Retype new password. Password updated successfully. 3.8 bootloader. Choose and install a Linux-capable bootloader. What's a bootloader? Oh, wasn't it grub? So am I not using grub already? Let's see the tutorial. Oh, this guy is also adding a new user, so I might as well do that as well. User add -m-g wheel -s/bin/bash. Okay, space and the name of the user. Let's do Shrek. And then he sets the password for the user. So the password before was for the root user, and this is for just the average mortal user. Passwd Shrek. Enter. Wonderful. Reboot. Exit the chroot environment by typing exit. Optionally manually unmount all the partitions with unmount-r/mnt. Finally, restart the machine by typing reboot. I'll just follow the tutorial. Editor equals nano. Uncomment the wheel thing. No idea what I'm doing. So SU switches to a user. So I want to switch to my Shrek user. User Shrek does not exist, or the user entry does not contain all required files. Shit. Okay, let's actually reboot. Let's just do reboot. Now, you may have picked up on one important detail there. I just randomly skipped the install bootloader part for whatever reason, and this little maneuver cost me 1 hour. Welcome to Arch Linux. Wait, what? Installation guide? Why is it giving me the installer again? Not only that, I wasn't able to figure out what was wrong, and I was already trying to install it for 5 hours and 17 minutes. So, I rage quit. Is what I would say if it wasn't a tactical retreat, because I came back ready the next day and was finally able to figure it out. I found this Reddit comment that said to boot into the installer again, mount my boot drive to /mnt, then chroot into /mnt, and then install grub from there. It's basically the interface where you can select which operating system you want to boot into when you first start your computer. And after setting up the grub configuration file, I finally saw this screen, which felt so good. I was finally inside Arch Linux. All I needed to do now was install a bunch more things so that I can see this instead of the black box with text. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, we're in. This is Arch Linux. I'm using Arch Linux, by the way. Well, it's still black and there's no desktop environment, so let's set that up so that it resembles a modern computer, like with a taskbar. I can't believe I pulled it through. Post-installation. So for the desktop environment, aka what you see on the screen, there are really two options. Well, there are limitless options, I guess, because it's Linux. Anyway, the two options are KDE Plasma or GNOME. Or GNOME. I have no idea. So based on hours and months of research and comparison, I'm going to go with KDE Plasma. Sudo -s Plasma. Shrek is not in the sudoers file. I'm so glad I named myself Shrek. Okay, so there's definitely something I missed here. Sudo setup. Oh yes, I am also not in the sudoers file. That's good news. Okay, exit to exit my user. Oh, okay. How to log in as root arch. So do I just say root? Okay. Editor equals nano. Never mind. Editor equals nano y sudo. Enter. Let's go down and try to find... Wait, I did this already, I'm pretty sure. And here I want to uncomment this. Uncomment to allow members of the wheel group to execute any command. Boink, control O, enter, and control X. Beautiful. SU Shrek, just switch to Shrek. At very powerful PC root. Okay, so how do I not do the root? How do I log out of root? Wait, is it control D to log out? Yes, my memory. Sudo pacman-syu. What the hell does this do? I'm pretty sure this updates the whole entire system, all the packages. A friendly complaint about the sudo package. Let's do this in quotation marks. By the way, if you surround something in quotation marks, Google searches for exactly this, like word for word. Is sudo pacman-syu the ideal way to update an Arch system? So yes, it updates the operating system. Just gonna let it run. Okay, we are done. So we're still in root at very powerful PC. So I'm going to click Control D to log out. And then I want SU Shrek password. Login incorrect. Well, it's correct. Oh, so do I not need to say SU? Let's do Shrek. Enter. Okay, good. Okay, I've logged into my Shrek user account. Sudo pacman-s plasma and sddm. Enter. Password. Okay. Enter. I don't know. Enter. Proceed with installation. Yes. Professional. Oh, and it's finished. Let's also install a few packages following this tutorial. Pacman-s console. This is the terminal, I think. Kate, which is a text editor, and Firefox, which is Firefox. Boink. Okay, sudo systemctl enable sddm, which enables the graphical interface thing for logging in, I think. And the same thing, but do it now. Oh, baby, we are in. Look at this. Welcome center. The words, by the way, are going to make up a lot more of my everyday dictionary now. Cool. Boom. Infiltrated completely. I've just gone ahead and installed Arch Linux on my actual computer and not in a virtual machine, albeit using the archinstall script. Was I scared of the fdisk utility and the possibility of deleting my entire hard drive? Who knows? But it was such a bliss to do it with the archinstall script. Essentially, it just allows for an easier installation process. You can just configure everything from one screen. So yeah, now that I have Arch Linux on my actual computer, I can start the exploration process. This is gonna be fun. Subscribe, join, do whatever you want. Oh, and there's one more thing I totally forgot to mention. Psych.